I think feminist psychology has accomplished a lot. In fact, I was referred to one of your chapters that I haven't had a chance to read yet, but I was told, oh, you have to read Alex's chapter, yeah, because that will give you so much of the history that and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to make sure that I know my history. So it's done so much. It's shifted the lens in so many ways, and there will always be new struggles because of that lens, because it's a lens of inquiry and it's a lens of challenge. One of my favorite quotes about multiculturalism and feminism comes from Katha Pollitt, who says something like, multiculturalism is about valuing or celebrating all cultures. Feminism is about interrogating all cultures. So there's always going to be an interrogation with feminism, and that's going to put it at odds with things sometimes in terms of celebration of some things. It's going to challenge cultures that are marginalized in certain ways, and challenging something that's marginalized feels really risky. And at the same time, patriarchy exists in all cultures, and so how can we not challenge it? But at the same time, how can we value and celebrate it and understand it from within the context of the women within these cultures, and at the same time recognizing that patriarchy makes it very difficult for women to fully understand sometimes what all the things that are affecting their experience are. It's still complicated, you know? Yeah. So we have to do somehow all of those things at once. Right. I also think that there's huge challenges for feminism around gender and around transgender issues, around non-binary gender. And I understand that women feel a need for spaces sometimes and for narratives that that are from within a certain experience of, you know, having been raised as a woman, you know, all of these things, having been socialized as a woman. That's a unique experience that has a lot of damage that's done, a lot of particular challenges, as well as a lot of particular strengths. You know, there's a lot that comes in that. So I can see where there's a wanting to sort of create a circle right there, you know, around that. And if cisgender women are feeling that way, and not also acknowledging the experience of transgender people, then we're closing out people who are suffering from a lot of the same gender restrictions. And it seems like there's so much potential in working together. I mean, the problem isn't feminism. The problem isn't that there's transgender people who, you know, want to be in these spaces. The problem is patriarchy. You know, I always come back to that. The problem is patriarchy. So are there ways that we can remember that and say, okay, we're all within that context. How do we understand each other's experience? And also, you know, I think it's on both sides. I think that everybody's feeling vulnerable, and this is part of the thing. Everyone's feeling vulnerable, and I think it's important to recognize our vulnerabilities, and also to say, okay, I recognize that I'm feeling vulnerable, and I need to be brave enough to have this conversation, to listen to someone else's experience, to articulate my experience, and not say, well, why don't you just understand, you know, which is you know, what we're feeling. So I think that's it. It's acknowledging vulnerability and it's bravery so that we can come together and fight against bigger forces that are affecting all of us.
Yeah.